Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plant Amateur. I'm Tara Gaines, and today we're going to talk everything pon. I've had a few requests for this, and people seem interested to know more about it, so I did a little bit of research, and I have some information for you. Very basic tutorial, very basic lesson on pon. While I talk about it, I have this Colocasia sold to me as a black ripple. I don't think that's what it is, but look at that beautiful black sexy leaf. Oh my gosh. And then also this Syngonium chiapense, just help me out here with the phonetics, right? This guy's putting out one more leaf for me, and he's just getting bigger and bigger, and I'm debating on putting him on a pole, but I'm just gonna leave him on this stick for a little bit longer, and maybe I can get him to attach to the wall later. That's the plan. Just a quick introduction to pon. Pon, the most common type is the brand Alocasia. I believe they're from Germany, and they have a 4-part ingredients list. On that list is pumice. The first thing is pumice. It kind of looks like this. This is not rinsed off. It'll change color with the rinsing. Usually it just becomes a little darker. They also have lava rock, which looks like this. I'm going to get myself out of it. Maybe it'll focus better. This is black lava rock. It does come in different colors. And then here is the zeolite. Right, zeolite. This is just a granular bag of like more stones than granules. The thing about pon may not be its recipe, but its ingredients in general. So I want to talk about each one so you kind of have an idea of why they selected each of these things. A little bit of talk about pumice because it is the main ingredient. Pumice is a volcanic rock, which means it's light and it's airy, it's porous. Porous, as you may know, means that it absorbs water. Because it absorbs water, it also acts as a reservoir. So if you put this in your regular soil, then it is a place for plants to get moisture and water and nutrients when the regular soil is dry. In pon, it is basically the reservoir. It's how plants get their water. As well as being porous, it'll soak up as much water as it can hold. That is, I did not get a figure for that, so I don't know. But it'll soak up that much water, and then it will release the excess. It'll let it drain out, especially because the reservoir is usually at the bottom. It'll just soak that up, and then if it ever gets low, it'll pull that water from the bottom and then retain the water again, including improving drainage. It also improves root respiration. Now, think respiration, think breathing. So it also allows air to flow through the root system because it has gaps and spaces, a little bit more like than if soil filled the gaps and spaces. So because it allows that air, it allows oxygen to get to the roots, thus helping the plant grow better. Another thing that's cool about pumice is that it prevents overwatering because it has that draining quality. In addition to help prevent overwatering, it also prevents compaction. It does break down over time, but it is a mass. So it'll prevent soils from compacting down on each other. But in a pon mix, it does the same thing. The stones, the pumice, the lava rock, the zeolite mesh against each other. The zeolite does not break down, so that stays the structure. So it helps support the roots. If the structure that the plant roots are growing in compacts and gets tighter and tighter and tighter, that means less air to the roots. That means less room for the roots to articulate through or expand and grow. So it helps keep the configuration of the root area. It helps keep the area inside the pot from shifting and changing and thus becoming thin and hard to move around. Pumice also has a neutral pH, so it can help stabilize the soil environment, or in this case, the pon environment. It doesn't make it too acidic or too alkaline. It just has it right in the middle, which benefits a wide variety of plants. A quick transition from the pumice to the lava rock and then the zeolite. Lava rock has all of the same qualities as pumice. There's a few differences, but for the most part, for this basic instruction, it is very much the same as pumice. Now, moving on to the zeolite. Zeolite is a natural mineral. It shares some of the same qualities as the pumice and the lava rock. For example, it's very porous. It can retain up to 60% of its weight in water. If you remember, I said this doesn't break down. That will also help prevent soil compaction. Zeolite is a huge factor in the pond recipe because of its cation exchange capability. What is cation exchange? Cation exchange is an indicator of soil fertility. It shows the ability of the soil to supply nutrients. A low cation exchange capability, the nutrients have the potential to be leached away. There's lots of variables that go into this, but basically when it comes to zeolite, a high cation exchange capability, the nutrients are less susceptible to leaching. Now, keeping it very simple, it has to do with positive and negative charges. Zeolite is negatively charged. Now, basic science says positive and negatives attract. Ammonium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium are 4 elements that I found zeolite can attract, but it can attract positive elements. Remember NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all of those have positive charges. So when you use a liquid fertilizer to water your pond, or any plant for that matter that has this in it, it will attract those charges and hold it as a reservoir. So as the plant dries out, then it will be able to supply that plant with those nutrients. Lastly, for the lechuza pond recipe, they use slow release fertilizer. I do not have it as an option in my recipe. I use liquid fertilizer. So I don't use slow release fertilizer, but you absolutely could. It comes in little granules. It definitely could save time. I enjoy watering my plants, and I enjoy the whole process. So it is just something that I do. But maybe you would like to do slow release fertilizer and then not think about it. It's like a crock pot, right? Set it and forget it. So that is what pond is in a nutshell. Now, in my brain, I thought I could talk and pot these guys back up at the same time, but obviously I didn't. So let me set this up so we can pot up these plants. All right, team, here we go. First, we're gonna start with this Colocasia. This Colocasia I found on Facebook Marketplace for a very affordable price. Look at all those roots. And it was sold to me as a black ripple, an esculenta, that's its botanical name, but I'm not sure that that's what this is. But the research that I did, it was more juvenile and it was pushing out more of a black leaf, but it's still juvenile. So I got it back in July of 2023, and now it is almost July 2024, almost. And so all the information I'm going to tell you about this plant is based on it being a black ripple. I mean, it could still grow up and be a black ripple, but I don't think it is personally at this time. And there's so many Alocasias, I'm not sure what kind it could be. And I also made a mesh screen to try to keep the pond in the cup. And now I'm noticing what a mistake that was. Let me see if I can show you without making too much of a mess. Can you see all of those roots, the little tiny ones like fighting their way through there? And oh, what a freaking nightmare. So you go ahead and sit back and relax. I'm gonna just skip ahead after dealing with this. I'm gonna gift all of these window screens away like immediately after this, because this is ridiculous. Oh, put your gloves on. There. Whew. Half of it has been released. Let's keep going. One more side. Never again. All right, so the one thing to know about pon is that it is very dusty. If you saw my, which one was it? If you saw my heavy metal, it wasn't heavy metal, sorry. If you saw my Alocasia metalhead video, you'll see what it looks like if you don't have drainage in these things. And those were even rinsed. Definitely rinse your pon before you use it, and just like leca, rinse it outside. It is very important because this pon, if you can tell, you can definitely see the clearness of it, okay? Now this is my regular pon mix. Can you see how dusty that is compared to this? This is rinsed already. So this is just what happens as it moves and crumbles amongst itself. I'm gonna have to rinse this out again and do it outside, because this, just like leca, although it's not clay, these things, just like leca, will leave sediment in your pipes. It is just as troublesome as leca is in that way. So when you are getting this ready to put some plants in, it is very important that you do it outside. I've added leca to my pon because I think it will allow for more moisture, and it's also a way to thin it out because pon is generally expensive. I was gonna do a little bit of research, basically just go back into my Amazon account and look at how much I paid for my amendments, but I forgot. In all of the other preparations I've done for this video, I just forgot and it didn't happen. So there we go. This is the Colocasia Black Ripple, or so I think. Again, I'm not sure if that's true. So if you know what this is a juvenile version. It's about a year old. If you know what this is, right? The leaves come in kind of green and then they go black like this. So if you know what this is, please do let me know, because, you know, Colocasia is Colocasia, but it might help me take better care of it, and I would appreciate that. And then I'm going to move right into this Chiapense, Syngonium Chiapense. I call it China because I have this thing with female wrestlers. Probably not going to need that. Oh no, I put a window screen in this one too. Amateur. Amateur! Look at that. One more time. How easy. And then we're just going to dump it out. Trying to be gentle because it is stone. Some of these roots look like they're 100% happy to be water roots. Ah, that one broke. It had come out the bottom of the pot and then tried to go back in. Everybody come out nice. Yeah. Yeah. This Chiapense, maybe, I think it was a gift. I can't remember if she had me pay for it or not, but I think it was a gift from my girlfriend who I met at a plant swap. And she came over, it was December 2023 that she gave it to me. And, or I bought it. I can't remember. We go back and forth with the gifting and the buying. She came over and was shocked that I was growing it in pon. She grows lots of things in pon as well. But she was like, I can't believe you're growing that in pon. And I pulled it out, and this was before the last up potting, and I pulled it out and the roots were coming out the bottom, and she was like, I am surprised that it is doing that. And I was like, me too. Mostly done. Victory! Let's have a look-see. Regular pon roots. At least if the plant likes it. And obviously this Syngonium does like it. So I've got another 24-ounce cup here. Oh my gosh! I forgot the post. Let's start again, shall we? And I think now, to keep you thoroughly entertained, would be a good time to share the perfect pon recipe. that there isn't really a perfect solution because everybody's environments and plants and substrates and nothing is going to be positively identical. So you can't find the perfect recipe. Well, you can. You just have to find it for your plants and your conditions for any time of year or any given substrate that you're using. But for pond, I use a part system. So I'll take 4 parts pumice, and to the 4 parts pumice, I take 2 parts lava rock. And from that, I then add half part zeolite. You don't need a lot, and you don't want a lot, right? Because it retains all that water. You just need enough to make it happy. And then again, I don't use slow release fertilizer in mine because I use liquid fertilizers. Oop. And sometimes I'll add perlite. Sometimes I'll add leca. I always add leca because I like how it keeps I feel like it adds space and it adds more air. I feel like that's something that's lacking. I'm gonna go rinse these guys out and water them up. I'll be right back. This is gonna take forever. So I'm just gonna fill it up and let it sit for a second so they can, get watered in. So you can see how dirty that water is. That's rinsed twice. It is very, very dusty. And I got this new glass container I found the other day. It's so pretty. I really like it. There we go, guys. 2 plants potted up and everything. Well, okay, let's admit, not everything, but most of what you could probably need to know about pond to get started, to use it as amendment or to just use it alone for your plants. I'm Tara Gaines. You've been watching Plant Amateur. If you have some feedback for me or if you want to just let me know how fun I am, go ahead and do the YouTube thing. Let me know what you think. And other than that, and as always, enjoy yourself. This is a huge factor in the pond recipe because of its... This is going to be a quick transition from pond. Oh my God. A quick transition capability. Where's my book? Where's my book? Damn it, I took my book over there. I can't remember what NPK stands for. Oh my God.